Well, good evening. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4. Virtual Pool 4 Online. This is the only online 3D pool game that you're going to get a live stream tonight, folks. If you haven't heard, Shooters Pool is down. Their main servers, I think, are based in a company in, I think it's Strasbourg. Not just Shooters Pool, there's other online games use the servers in that particular place, and there was a major fire earlier on the week, and Shooters Pool has had to pay the price for that because their servers are burnt out, and they have been for the last 3 days at least. No sign of them coming back online yet, but well, that's still to come. Virtual Pool 4, luckily, is not using those servers. VP4 servers are in the States. But we're here for Friday night 9-ball. It's a full house. It's been full for the last half an hour or more. So we've got 16 in. We'll have a quick look unless somebody withdraws. We've got Bankster, Black Jagged, Chase One Around, DJ Redo, Alicia, Fantastic Mr. Fox, John Boo, Christian, Larry, Preacher, SD92, Sir Garesh, Shooters Pool Pro, Spectre Don, Stefan and Super Noob. They're all signed up, all ready to go. Race to 7, good evening. Race to 7 on the winner's side. It's a handicap tournament. It's Moneyball handicaps. And it's a lag per break. Race to 4 on the one loss side. Another word of warning. If the tournament is running on way too late for me, I'm going to pull the plug and go to bed. So, not that many people will hang around to that time of night anyway, but there's a fair chance we're going to go 3.5 hours. It just depends how the matches go, but that's how they have been the last few weeks. And this, again, we're getting to the time where it's probably going to be maybe my last one, because unless Tin changes the start time for the tournament when the clocks go forward, I won't be doing any more until later on in the year when the clocks go back again, because it means the tournament's starting an hour later, which is no good at all. So we are right at the top of the hour. That is the Fast 9-ball Brawl tournament that's on. There's usually only 2 or 3 in it. But the one we're waiting on is about to go up any second now. We are right just after 7 o'clock, so we should be going up. In fact, the bracket's probably already drawn. Yes, it is. And there we go, the rooms are up. Well, there's the match we're going to go in and watch. Now, interestingly enough, I don't see Mr. Fox in the lobby. That's strange. I see that he's playing Spectre Dawn, but I do not see Mr. Fox. So he's either going to be a no-show, or he's just going to drop in at the last minute. Anyway, Black Jagged's playing Christian, Mr. Fox, Spectre Dawn, Larry is playing John Boo, and Mr. Fox has arrived. Players are in the room, let's go for it. We've got the cloth the right colour, they're probably lagging off right now. In fact, I'm in the wrong room, let's leave the room. How did that change? Right. Well, I think I'm in the right room. Nobody's here yet. I hope this is the right room I'm in. And the Billiard Channel is our sponsor of this tournament. Not that I've ever been on the Billiard Channel. So Mr. Fox has arrived. We're waiting on Spectre Dawn. Well, I would have thought the obvious answer to that question is no, because you're in the room on your own. There you go. He's arrived now. Spectre Dawn has arrived. His cue's yet to appear. But I'm not convinced that he's actually in the room proper here. We may well have a bit of a problem here, because I'm not seeing his cue, and I think maybe that's because Bill and him joined at the same time. And now strange things are happening. I'm going to get out of the room quick before things break. Yep, something's gone amiss. Good evening, welcome everybody. Let's go back in. Right, I think we're good to go this time. I presume that's Spectre Dawn's queue at the top of the screen, because his queue hasn't loaded properly yet. And Mr. Fox has won the lag, so he's going to break off. Race to 7. I'll check my little doodle. And we're working okay. And remember, it's spot money, so the 9 ball goes down in the break, it comes back up. It's also rack money, which means, you should know by now, it means that the rack itself is racked further up the table, away from us towards the centre pockets. The 9 ball effectively sits on what was the head spot. Yes, he is lagging. He's probably having to do a the best thing he's going to have to do is actually do a restart of EP4, or stop downloading whatever he's downloading. So Mr. Fox will be out with the jump stick, plenty of room to get over this 4 ball and 8 ball, loads of room to do that. That just needs to slow up. Now, of course, when he pots the 2 ball, just looking to see how that 4 ball looks. The question is whether he's going to go down off the bottom rail and back up for the 3 into the corner pocket. It needs to bounce. Loads of inside left to come in and around the 3, which means he's now running away to the right hand side, so he's going to have to put loads of fizz on the cue ball here again. Now, I think he's got enough room to get there. Important for Mr. Fox that he runs this rack, because as we've seen in weeks gone by, Spectre Dawn doesn't usually give you that many chances, and whenever he gets a chance he usually takes them out, so you've got to match him, and he won't do it doing shots like that, because that was poor. Plenty of room in that gap between the 8 and the 9, so if anything you overhit it to make sure you get into the gap, and if he loses a rack because of that, then it's just a poor positional shot. Should have been nowhere near the 8 ball, and the 5 goes in, but the cue ball, unfortunately, it follows in the opposite pocket, and Mr. Fox's chance is gone, and he sold that one down the river. It should have been on the board. Good evening, Cobra, and welcome to any latecomers. This is your Friday night 9 ball. Shooter's pool is not available at the moment, and the interesting thing is, though, that even though Shooter's pool isn't available and hasn't been for a few days, none of them are coming to VP4, and that says a lot about Virtual Pool 4. That's what I'm thinking. Yep, it was full 55 minutes before the tournament started. At 6:05 tonight, when I came on after my dinner, I had a look, it was full. And Spectre Dawn is going to get the job done. And that's a chance gone, a big chance for Mr. Fox to get off to a good start, and he blew it, locking himself behind the 8 ball, I think it was. Having to jump to pot the 5, he managed to get the jump, but the cue ball ran across the table and scratched. And that's the type of things you can't be doing. Especially as well that Mr. Fox is playing in this match. There's no handicap, it's a scratch match. So Mr. Fox has to live up to his 2,300 rating. Well, if you hit this full in the face in behind the 1, you can certainly punch it up the table and get distance. But you're relying on it not hitting another ball. I think the 5, let's have a quick look. Well, that 1 will squeeze past the 5, but you've got to get good on it, and he has done. Excellent, very tight pot. And Spectre Dawn's off and running again, and I can't see where he's going to go wrong here. And lo and behold, commentator's curse, he's gone wrong straight away with the inside right on that cue ball. Putting a bit of spin just to make sure he came away from the 7 ball for the 3, and that's why he's missed the 2. But once again, Mr. Fox has got his chance, and everything wide open. He has to run the table, and he's the wrong side of the 3 straight away. So there's the first mistake. You can't be the wrong side of the 3 when you've got the 4 wide open at the top end of the table. And he's having to do cartwheels with the cue ball to get there. And that's how things end up going wrong. When you have to start moving that cue ball distances, that's where you'll end up in a hole. And again, he's gone way too far inside the 5. He can tuck it down the rail, and he can stun across for the 6 down the other rail, but he's making it difficult. And now he's dead straight in the 6. He's got to make sure he rolls through far enough for this 7. And in all honesty, he could have done with going a wee bit more. He's got an angle on it, but he'd be much better having been rolling this in a bit more. He should be out now, and we should be all square. So I should be coming through nice and clear on the mic now. Everything has been ironed out. It should be crystal clear. And we're now at 1 rack all. Should be 2-0, but it's 1 rack all. Fox breaking off rack number 3. And this rack money does give a tremendous amount of dry breaks. But like I've said before, it's a case of working out a break and experimenting. So chopping and changing your break when nothing's going in is probably one way of going about it. But the break was dry, Spectre Dawn off and running. Nothing on the 2 ball. Now, does Mr. Fox try and get distance from this, because we could end up tip-tapping here. And somebody's got to be brave enough. And there's room behind that 8, 9 and 5. Well, this is a good opportunity for Spectre Dawn to do that. You can cut the 2 into the middle of the table and just bring the cue ball. Well, he's gone the other way for the reverse bank. So he's made his mind up. There's going to have to be a cut into the middle. And he's got to watch the path of this cue ball, because if he skims off it with a bit of draw, he could easily scratch in the bottom right. He's got to be careful. And he's just let it run. So now the big problem is finding a way to have a shot in this 5, and being honest with you, he's probably best to leave it down by the 7 ball if he can, unless he tries something really exotic to get near the 5. Well, he's trying to get right down into the corner past the 6. He's made a valiant effort, but there's a tall order. He'll still go for the cut. And he's going to be on the 6. Now, how is he on the 7? Well past the 7. And now the next big shot, getting back up the table. Well, we are, what's today's date? This March the 12th, so we are 2 weeks tonight, I believe. Is that right? 2 weeks tonight will be the start of the Virtual 9-Ball World Championships. And there's already, well, I think there's already 30 odd people in the tournament. Although, having a look at the names, about 6 of them are going to forfeit straight away. At least 6 of them. So 2-1 to Spectre Dawn. Yeah, you look at the list of names in it though, there is, I mean there's maybe 40 in it, but I guarantee at least 6 of them will be nowhere to be seen in that first round. Well, a good jump by Spectre Dawn. Yeah, well, I would suggest it's very slim odds that Mal will appear. Very slim. And if anybody sees Vince's, make sure you tell him to get signed up, because I haven't seen him for a while. Well, Spectre Dawn's not making it easy by not getting good on these balls, and sooner or later you're going to run out, and he's run out that time. Run out of shots, and once again Mr. Fox should be running the table. Well, I'm sure Stubbs relieved at that. I don't know why. Again, I think, well, he can easily go off the rail and out. No problem. And you'll probably get, the yawning started already. You'll probably get a few more who'll sign up nearer the time. But they'll only sign up through enthusiasm by seeing there's a lot of people in. And a few of them probably won't play either. That's what usually happens. What's that got to do with it? He can take a laptop with him. So, 2 racks all. Oh dear. Well, Spectre Dawn's finding ways to get himself in trouble. And he's certainly going to have to brush up on the positional play a bit because he's left himself some awkward shots tonight. Okay, he's going to get most of them, but like I say, you can't keep getting them. Oh, and he's managed to kick the 3 in. He's nudged everything open, and he's lying pretty good in the 4. So he's got out of jail there in that one. So shouldn't be any problem getting on the 6. Back up for the 7. Nice angle on the 7 to cut it in and just drop down for this 8 in the bottom rail. Now he's again just the wrong side of the 6 for comfort, but he can easily spin off in the gap between the 8 and the 9 and come around 2 rails. 1, 2, well 3 rails if he wants. But he's going to end up straight on this 7. And now he'd be better off drawing this. Drawing it right back onto the rail and back across the table. That's probably the safest route. And he has to just make sure, is he trying to, what's he trying to do? Yes, he is. He's trying to stun it up, but you see, he has to make sure he gets there. That was the only problem with that shot, is if he'd underhit it, he'd end up hooked, but he's okay. Again, he's leaving himself the high cut. And these are always testy on these pockets. And it goes back into the lead, 3 racks to 2. Now, something in the top right, what was it? 4 ball has gone. No shot in the 1. Not the best of safeties, but the backup is that obviously the 2 balls get nowhere to go. It's blocked by the 8. And again, Mr. Fox trying elaborate stuff with the cue ball. But it's all very well doing elaborate things with the cue ball, but you've got to get the first objective, and that's pot the ball. He's got away with it. Although Spectre Dawn will be out with the jump stick, no doubt. And this will be good practice for him for the big tournament when it comes around, because it'll be the first time that the guys will be able to use jump cues. Well, that's what I believe he said. He's still been online the last few days. I don't know when his account expires, but he said it's not. It's pretty imminent that his registration will need a renewal, but he's not renewing it, he says. And Mr. Fox going for the combo, a big ambitious combo, and again he should have been looking at a safety there, and all he's done is opened everything wide open and given Spectre Dawn a free go. And Spectre Dawn, already with the 3 racks to 2 lead, has a chance to open up the gap. And that was not maybe the wisest choice of shot. It's all very well being a hero, but that called out for a good safety. How many we got in the lobby? 74. Well, that's probably a few more than normal, but nothing to get overexcited about. Well, this is another tester. I think he's dead straight in the 7. He's got a slight angle he can pinch, and he's going to be inside this 8 ball as well, so another tester. Well, he's more or less parallel. It's not finished as bad as I thought it was going to finish. That's going to be inside. Is it going to hold up? Yeah, it's held up. And that's what happens with these jaws. So Mr. Fox has been gifted a get out of jail card by Spectre Dawn. So we're all square in this race to 7. And Mr. Fox breaking off rack number 7. And 6 ball into the middle. No shot on the one though. Now, I wonder if that's a combo. I wonder if that would brush off the 5 and go in that 7 ball. No, it's too thick. I was being very ambitious there, and would you believe it, Mr. Fox has scratched again. Another careless safety. And he's given Spectre Dawn ball in hand. Well, there's a result through. That was quick. And Shooters Pool Pro has beaten Bankster by 7 racks to 2. This is a tall order, this one for Spectre Dawn. This is a tough 3 ball. Well, if he's going to go with bottom corner, he's got to avoid that middle pocket, and I don't know whether that was maybe playing on his mind there, but he's missed the 3. He's doing a bit of the stub stuff tonight, Spectre Dawn. He's leaving himself awkward pots and trying to pot his way out of trouble. And Mr. Fox has got another chance, this time to take the lead. Of course, that's one of the hardest shots in virtual pool, is that 3 ball deep in the pocket and trying to get the cue ball back out into the table and trying to judge the draw. And the bank works. The pace was good on that bank to give it every chance to go in. Any firmer than that, it would have hung up in the jaws. And this is the one that's a tester. Got to be careful with this as well, because this could also scratch this cue ball. Heading towards the corner. He's okay. Anything but straight. Well, he is straight, so just a soft roll. Try and leave the 9 as straight as you can. So, it's a 4-3 lead now to Mr. Fox. Wants a ball and a shot. And nothing doing. Dry break, but he's left Spectre Dawn right in here, right on the 1. And now the problem ball is going to be the 5 ball, because Spectre Dawn has to get good on this 4 to get up for that 5. The 5 isn't going past the 6, so it's really only going into that middle or into that far corner pocket. Cue ball's going to be travelling again up and down the table, and Spectre Dawn's taking his eye right off the ball here, because he's missed the cut into the middle. He's got himself on the 4, and Mr. Fox, well, if he's going to be a wily fox, he'll be playing a half decent safety in this 3 ball. Trying to get up in the right corner, and that's the shot I like. That's the first good safety shot he's played. Get that distance. If you don't get the cover, get the distance. In fact, he's been unlucky because he's left a gap right through there for that 3. Now, Spectre Dawn doesn't have a lot of manoeuvring here though. He's got not much room to work with. So just trying to bank it dead weight. But if that's off the rail, which it is, it's a good judge here for Mr. Fox to play the bank. Well, this will bank every day of the week. If it doesn't go first time, it'll go second. He's going to have to get the pace in it though. Is it going to get there? No. That little abrasion on the rail there has just killed the momentum. It might have got there. And Spectre Dawn breathes a sigh of relief. And he's got the same problem. Well, he's not even trying to get up to the 4. He's leaving himself all of these awkward shots. This is a big bedhead cut. And he's got it. And he's the top side of the 5. Well, there's a couple of results in as well. Stefan has beaten Alicia 7-5. And DJ Redo has beaten Chase One Around 7-2. So, Spectre Dawn almost all square again. Four racks all. And doesn't look as if anything's happening here either. And no. Well, that one will cut. But the cue ball is running towards the corner pocket. And also, if you try and come off that bottom rail, you could run into the 3 as well, but he's managed to avoid it. This is going to be another one where the cue ball's getting worked a fair bit to try and get anywhere near this 3. The 8 and the 6 ball are well in the way up there at the top of the table, so he's gone for the bank. That's worked out good. Now, can he back it all up? Oh, this has got to go up the table past the 5 ball to find that gap between the 5 and 9. That's the safest route. Well, he's run into the 5, that's done no harm at all. Now, anywhere towards that left middle pocket or leave it long. And now he can he just, well, he can just stun off it, a little soft draw. And he'll be on the 6. Shouldn't be a problem here. Oh dear. That's a bad one to miss. And he's got away with it. That was not a difficult shot. Now the danger with this shot here is if you kick it this way, there, and you hit the 5, your odds on you're going to scratch. You've got to get this right. And he's missed it topside. And once again, well, that kiss on the 6 may well have given him a lifeline here because the 6 has gone upward. And although Spectre Dawn's got ball in hand, well, you may well think he might try and do something. Well, there's no echo coming from my speakers because I don't have my speakers on. I've only got my headset on. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll turn down the mic volume on XSplit, Gamecaster at the end of this rack. because I think it's up full. So it's the volume. Obviously you can turn the volume down on the stream, but there shouldn't be any echo, because I've listened to a few of my streams I've done the last few days and it all sounds fine. Echo from the in-game sounds. Well, there's more people saying that it's fine and there's no echo. There definitely wasn't when I listened. I listened to some of my recordings. It all sounded fine. It could be your audio settings on your system. You might have certain audio enhancements on Windows Sound that might need adjusting. Anyway, back to the match. Spectre Dawn, Mr. Fox, 4 racks all. And where's this cue ball ending up? Well, that'll do. Delicate little cut. Got to make sure you just cut it enough. So, Spectre Dawn, well, he was trailing. He's now got himself back into the lead. Right, hang on a sec. Oh, I'm at. Right, I've turned down my mic level in XSplit Gamecaster, and I've turned down the output level for the game in Gamecaster, so things should have went down slightly. So 5 racks to 4, Spectre Dawn. I must have missed him, must have got a ball in the break. 1 ball's gone, and also the 7 ball. 3 ball cuts past the 9. Can he brush into that 5? That looks odds on to brush into the 5 and hold for the 4. But does the 4 go past the 8 is the question. That is very, very tight. Well, he's hit the 5. Let's have a closer look at this. See, when you look at it that way, it's going in off the jaw every day of the week. Well, in the end, I think Spectre Dawn just thought, I'm going to hit this and hope, because you wouldn't play it at that pace if you were convinced it would go. But again, Mr. Fox has got a gilt edge opportunity here. Now, the worst thing he can do is leave a billiard onto the 9. He's tried to draw back onto the 9. Again, I don't think that was the wisest shot. He should have potted the 4, get the cue ball around the table. He could have probably billiarded off the 5 onto the 9. He's tried to get one step ahead of himself there. And Spectre Dawn's got a problem. He can pot the 4, but I think he can still, even if he gets to there, he can still clip onto that 5 and billiard the 9 into the pocket. He just needs to get across the table twice like that, back across there like that, and he can then stun off the 5 and billiard the 9 in. Mr. Fox should have done that. Again, he tried to go one step too far by playing it too soon, and he'd have been better off potting the 4. Well, that was the shot, but Spectre Dawn managed to hit both jaws and the 9 stayed out, and Mr. Fox has had another lifeline. Well, I don't see any problem here. other than he's offline on this 6, so he needs to just get himself set. And he's dead straight in the 8, so he could just roll through, gentle, or he can pinch a bit, because he can pinch a wee bit and just roll beyond the 9. He can go that way, just beyond the 9, and take the 9 down at the bottom. He's trying to stun across. He's got the cut. So this match has got final rat decider written all over it, because nobody wants to win this match. Nobody's taking control here, but Mr. Fox can take control if he can get a ball, a shot here. 3 ball goes in, and well, the combo's on in the middle. That's a shot to go for, because it's asking a lot to get that one squeeze past the 4, and he's overcut it. How's his luck? Well, it's not too bad. Spectre Dawn can see half of the 1, but can he tuck it away and hide the cue ball? Yes. Well, he's just overhit it. Anybody notice a drop in the volume? And more importantly, is anybody still getting an echo? Hang on a wee sec. I've just double checked my volume levels. I have dropped them down a bit. Well, it's going to be 2 combos in a row here for Mr. Fox if he's going to get this done. The first initial problem is he's got to be really, really gentle on this 8 ball. Well, that's actually worked out fine, because the pace of the cue balls come back up the table. So in goes the 8, in goes the 1, as tight to the rail as he can, to make this as easy as possible, this combo. And this again has to be gentle, because that 2 ball will squirt away to the top rail if he hits it too hard, because the angle's going to well, possibly come off the rail and back across behind that 4. But if he's really gentle, he can keep the 2 ball there. But you see what I mean? He's not listening. The commentator's eye is never wrong. If he'd played that gentle, he would have left the 2 ball there, and it's done exactly what I said. It's got away, and he's now got himself hooked and got himself in trouble. Now you see, that's why Mr. Fox isn't ever going to be a tactical genius like me, because these are the kind of shots you can see happening. And if you play it gentle, you give yourself a chance. If you play it firm, you're risking the 2 ball squirting away, and exactly what I said happened, and his chance is gone. Well, I bet he wishes, if he sees this stream, I bet he wishes he could hear me. Spotted that a mile away, that shot. And it could be very costly, because Spectre Dawn only needs a good break this time, and I don't think he's really had a good break tonight at all. But a good break and a shot, a ball and a break will do. And he's on the hill. And, well, this has been a tale of what should have been if Mr. Fox had taken his chance early on. But he's found ways to get himself in trouble, as has Spectre Dawn. He's missed, well, he's missed a lot more this week than he missed last week. but he might get away with it. And the only way he's ever going to get away with it is when opponents don't take their chances. So Spectre Dawn, ball in the break. The 7 ball has gone. No shot, but a good safety. And the way these balls are lying, Mr. Fox has to get this good. He has to get lucky. And that is not bad. Well, at least Spectre Dawn has to do something. He can clip the one. Is he going to hit it hard enough to cross bank it? Can he see enough of it to cross bank it into the left middle pocket? As we look. No, he's gone for the jump. And that's a good shot. Oh, he's just got him. I think he might have disconnected here. Oh no, there he is. I thought he'd gone there. Got to make sure he gets out of that corner up there. He's not got a lot of angle to work with. But he's managed to get out. But the lifeline is there for Mr. Fox because Spectre Dawn's drawn into the 6. He's locked it to the 5. And that may well be the safety net that Mr. Fox is needing to stay in this match. But can Spectre Dawn get good on the 4 because there's plenty of room. There's plenty of, that's perfect. He's got a good angle in the 4 and he can get a bit of spin into this just before the middle pocket in the left and spin down into the 6 and 5 and hope he gets lucky. Well, he's got the touch. Well, he hasn't really got a good bit of running, but no doubt he's going to go for the cut down into the bottom left. Or he's going for it in the middle. Oh, what a shot. Cracking shot into the middle. And this is the one that's going to clinch it. Getting good on the 9. Pace looks good if it keeps rolling. Well, it's the one that got away for Mr. Fox because had he taken his chances, he could well have been sending Spectre Dawn to the 1 lost side, but Spectre Dawn comes through in the end. 7 racks to 5. So we've had a few results through. Let's have a quick look at this bracket. And we'll just update that. Right, let's see what's happening. We've got Black Jagged up 6-5 against Christian, a scratch match. We've got, I never noticed, but Larry has come through against John, but I missed that result. Larry's won in a final rack decider in that match. And Spectre Dawn is now going to play Stefan. Sergeresh is already 2-1 up against DJ Redo. Shooters Pool Pro is 1-0 up against Super Noob. Tell a lie, is 2-1 down against Super Noob. So Larry is waiting on the winner of this match between Boris and Christian. And I think that might well be over, or it's just about to be. Black Jagged on the 7. And as long as that bounces, he should be staring down the 9 ball into the middle for the match. And well, Larry's going to be giving away a fairly hefty handicap here in the match against Black Jagged. So, in fact, let's go in and look at that. That's another glitch in the bracket again. Spectre Dawn is leading Stefan by 27,392 to 0 at the moment. Let's go into this match and see these two players. Shooters Pool Pro and Super Noob. We're at 2 racks all. Preacher has just beaten Bankster in the 1-loss side by 4 racks to 2. Let's have a look and see where these guys are from. According to well, I can't see it for the chat. It's anybody's guess. Somebody else can tell me. I can't see them. Well, a bit of inside on this 2-ball. Inside right, just to kick into the rail and try and get a touch on that 4 and 8. And that's a nice little touch in the 8. Could have done obviously with running out into the table a bit more. So, Shooters Pool Pro. Well, that's, again, cutting into a blind pocket is never a guarantee you're going to read that easily. But, there's evidence that he knows roughly what he's doing. Meanwhile, Super Noob playing. Is this the one? Is this the guy that plays with a house cue? Who is it that plays with a house cue but he's got a jump cue? Maybe I'm mixing myself up. Maybe it's the opposite way around. Maybe Shooter's Pool's the one that plays with a house cue. I never noticed. Anyway, Shooters Pool Pro's got another go. Dead straight in the 4. Very, very slight angle. But he doesn't want to try and do too much with this. He might want to just run through and leave this 5 long into this bottom right hand corner. Well, I think he's trying to stun it and kill it. Put it in the opposite corner. Well, this is going to have to be a good shot. Needs to dig right into the cue ball. And he's just got into it enough. And plenty of room to drop down onto this 9. So Shooters Pool 3-2 up with the break. And no joy. Oh, look at this for a safety shot that's wide open. Just tuck that 1 ball away, send the cue ball all the way around behind the 5 and 3. He's gone all the way out for the bank, you see. Now, again, it's all very well played the bank. I think when you make that decision and then you go and do shots like that, you end up looking an umpty. When he had a far easier safety shot, and let's face it, his odds of running out were fairly slim, considering where the 3 ball and the 4 ball was. It was just crying out to tuck that cue ball right into the corner. Again, that's where you have to just assess. This is the problem with a lot of people. A lot of people, I've got this, they'll just get this sort of radar that says they have to pot a ball and try and clear the table every visit that they're at the table. When anything like a half decent safety shot could get you the reward in the end. And when you assess the situation, what are your odds of running the table in that situation? They weren't great, let's be honest. And then when he'd made that decision to play the bank, they can't get the 2 in the hole. He just ends up looking daft. Because if you make that decision, you've got to back it. You've got to end up doing it your way once you've made that choice. But Super Noob is getting a second go at it. Just a roll through and we'll be all square again. I'll have a quick drink if I can get my bottle. And it looks, oh, the 6 ball has dropped. Cutting the 1 into the middle. Let's have a quick look at the bracket, see how things are shaping up. Well, Black Jagged or Boris is getting a 7 ball against Larry, he's up 1-0. Spectre Dawn is still 27,392 0 up against Stefan. Let's do a quick refresh and see if that fixes it. No, it hasn't, so that's a glitch. So I don't know what the hell the score is in that match, but it's certainly a huge deficit that Stefan's got. Sergresh is 4-2 up against DJ Redo in the match that we're in at the moment. And on the 1 loss side, we've got Christian and John Boo 1 rack all. I think that's all that's happening. Mr. Fox and Alicia don't look as if they're underway yet, unless Alicia's unless the room's up and Alicia isn't there. And of course the other matches won't go ahead until some losers come through from this winner's side. So, rail not hit, Super Noob with ball in hand. 4 ball is awkward on the left hand side, although if you can drop through in the 3 and get a half decent angle in the 4, you can drop it into the middle. And perfect opportunity for Super Noob to do that here. Just drop the 3 in. Well, now you might want to punch this in to get the cue ball out for the 5. He certainly punched it in. He's actually punched it in too good, but he's gone inside the 5, and that means he can find the gap, or he should be able to find the gap between the 8 and 9. A little soft draw off this 8, a little stunny draw. So Super Noob has the lead with the break. And there's the result through, and Stefan must have gone to bed, or Spectre Dawn has gone to bed. I don't know what the hell's happened there. What the hell's happened there? Where's Spectre Dawn? I don't see him listed there. Unless he must have got called away in an emergency or whatever, but I don't see him. He has disappeared. That was strange. Well, Spectre Dawn will obviously have moved over to the one loss side now, but whether he's actually going to come back to actually play that match, we don't know. We wait and see. And Spectre Dawn is over to play chase one around, and he's getting 5 and out against him, but it may well be that he's gone for good tonight. I don't know what's happened. Hopefully it's nothing sinister that has gone on. And meanwhile, Super Noob at the table with the lead, and again another good chance of getting a half decent safety, but okay, that'll do. Well, Super Noob can bank the 4 up the table and just let that cue ball run in behind the 8. Well, he's gone all out for the cut, and well, he's got lucky because he's got plenty of balls covering that 4, but Shooter's Pool can kick the rail, catch that 4 and knock it in, and needs a bit of luck again here to get anything on this 5. Well, the 5 goes, it's fairly tight, but it does go. Yeah, that's always the danger when it's very adjacent. It's so easy just to push the ball into the adjacent ball. But I think he's got away with it as well. Well, that again, not a very good safety. That should have been on the bottom rail or on the top rail as we look, that 5 ball. But it's finished 2 foot short. And Shooter's Pool Pro with a chance to get it all square again. So into rack number 9. 5 ball thought about going in. Something went into the right middle, which was the 6 ball, and a thin cut in the 1. And well, it looks as if Spectre Dawn has gone, because that room will be up between him and Chase one around, and it's going to time out any minute. So something has happened. Meanwhile, Sergaresh has beaten DJ Redo by 7 racks to 2. And the 3 and 5 have gone. Well, again, this is just calling out for a half decent safety, this 4 ball. Super Noob going all out for the impossible. A really, really thin cut in the 4. He might have thought that was the best way of going about it, considering it wasn't that obvious and easy to get a safety from it. Now, what about this 8 ball? It doesn't go past the 9. The angle on the 7 takes the cue ball up the table. Is he going to run up for the combo? It looks like it. So this to regain the lead. Combo on the 9. And then it goes. Shooter's Pool Pro's break is dry, and immediately Super Noob has got the chance to tie the match. Now he's going to have to get good here by potting this 2 and finding a way to get around onto this 3. I don't know that that was a shot, but he's played the combo in the 3 and the 9 and we're all square. Maybe it was the shot. Well, this time Super Noob's the one to come up dry, and he's not left anything just to push out for Shooter's Pool. That's a good shot there, but the cue ball's going to tuck away. Again, another good recovery. And a nice slight angle on this 3. He can just squeeze it and drop down for the 4. Yeah, he needed to stun that a wee bit more so it would go more of a parallel line down to give him an easier pot on that 4. So he's tried to play the safety, and I think he's got away with it, because if you try to cut that cue ball scratching, so he may well punch the 4 around the table or onto the bottom rail as he's trying, but just a bit too heavy, or the top rail as we look, but the bottom rail as you break. And that, again, just the pace took it in, but where's the cue ball? And he's going to have to jump that one. And well, Mr. Fox has beaten Alicia by his 4 racks to 1. Now that match would have timed out by now. That one with Spectre Dawn and Chase one around, but it's still not shown. It's still not shown as a result. That seems to be taking an inordinate amount of time. Mind you, Spectre Dawn was he had a bit of a weird problem at the start of this match, and it looked to have recovered. But strange that has not come through as a result yet. It definitely seems like it's longer than 10 minutes. And Christian and John Boo has gone to a final rack decider, and John Boo has won it, and there's the result come through, and Chase one around is through by forfeit, and Spectre Dawn has definitely gone. Which I'm sure everybody else will be relieved at that. Although it'd be good to find out what the problem was for Spectre Dawn. As I said, yeah, let's just hope it was his internet that went down or something, not anything else. So it's 6-5 to Shooters Pool Pro, who has broke. The break is dry. The push out was played. And Super Noob's got away with it. Now he's going to have to play an awful short angle to actually get over that 7. You can't jack the cue up anywhere near as high when you're trying to go distance. You have to jack it shorter, but I think he was way beyond the threshold of being able to jump over that 7. And it's given Super Noob a chance that he has to take, because he's in the last chance saloon here, trailing by 6-5, and the 2 balls got away. That was again always the problem. He could go all out for the reverse bank, or he could try and play a safety, and he sort of got away with it. But he's pretty much got away with it, because the 8 ball isn't set as a combo. Shooters Pool Pro can push the 2 towards the rail, and as long as he gets the cue ball up by the 4 somewhere, he won't leave the combo. And that'll do. Well, there's enough showing on this 2 ball, but slim chance of getting anywhere good on this 3 ball. Cue ball, well, that will do. Risk to scratch. Cue ball stays up. And well, just a straight roll through up to the middle pocket, and he'll be on the 4. He's digging down to try and come back and out for the 4, for the 5, but he's missed the 4 because of it. And Super Noob's last chance to take this all the way. And well, it's a double bank if it comes to it on this 5 ball. Well, he's went all out for getting it spot on. He hasn't got there. And Shooters Pool Pro, I think, can see the edge of that just past the 8 to cut it in. And the cue ball will be coming down this bottom end of the table to get on that 8 into the middle, or up to the same pocket as the 5. Oh, he's way off the mark there. I don't know whether he was convinced he could get to it, but it looked as if he could. And it's surely this time the final lifeline in this match for Super Noob. And that needs to keep running past the 9, and it has done. And well, just in and off the rail and out, and get that cue ball into the middle of the table to leave it a straight. Well, he's overhit that by quite a margin. Too much juice on it. Now it's a tester. Going for the bank, and in it goes. So Super Noob with the break in the final rack. And nothing's going. 7 balls hanging. Not really very inviting start here for Shooters Pool Pro, but he's off and running. Needs another good one in this too. Extremely good. Not only to pot it, but to get the cue ball back up the table for the 3. That was about the best he could do at the angle he was playing at it. Well, full focus here on the 3 ball, and as long as the cue ball's in the open, he should be able to see the 4 to play the combo in the 7. Now I say he should be. He's going to have to jump it to play the combo. Shouldn't be a problem though. Is the 4 ball going to stay there? Oh dear. Well, cue ball and the 4 ball have both gone off the table. And Super Noob has his chance to pinch the match. Well, is he going to get lucky again? Not really. Sending the cue ball around the 3 rails to get down onto the 9 was the right shot. But he's taking his eye off the 8 ball in the process. And his chance may well have gone. Another little testy cut for the match for Shooters Pool Pro. And in it goes. So Super Noob moves over to the 1 loss side. And if we look, we can see Spectre Dawn's forfeit there. We've got Sergaresh about to play Shooters Pool Pro. Stefan is waiting on the winner of Larry and Black Jagged, and that's the match we'll go in and watch if we can get in, that is. And Black Jagged getting a 7 ball as the extra money ball, and Larry at the table trailing 5-4, trying to kick his way out of the snooker. I don't know whether that was self-inflicted or not, but either way he's missed the hit. And he's given Black Jagged ball in hand to get to the hill. Well, he's making it awkward for himself again. Nowhere near good on this 5 ball. And I'm getting the blame of it. Yeah, horrible position to be playing that 5 from. And Larry has his chance to square the match. And Larry has hung up the 5. Good evening, Popman. You're late on the go. Well, the surprise this week is Spectre Dawn scraped through in his first match, and then he's forfeited his other matches, so we don't know what's happened to him. So hopefully nothing bad. And meanwhile, Larry had a good chance there to square the match, but he's hung the 5. And Boris is going to have to play either the combo or the billiard. The billiard looks good to me off this 6 onto the 9. This is crying out for the billiard. He's gone all out for the bank. And he's going to fluke the 6, is he? No, he's going to hang it up. Now, can Larry get himself good on this 7? Well, I was going to say, he doesn't look as if he's hit that hard enough. He's left himself a bit short in the 7. And DJ Redo has beaten Mr. Fox by 4 racks to 1. He must have been getting a fair handicap in that match. What was he getting? He's getting a 6 ball. Well, the result has come through on the lobby chat, and it's not updated in the tournament. Oh, it's updated now. So Larry has squared the match. 5 racks all. Ball in the break, but one of them is a cue ball as well. And so Black Jagged has his chance from ball in hand. Well, the problem ball is going to be the 6 ball. And the other problem that I've just realised is that Black Jagged's money ball has gone, his 7 ball has gone, so he's going to have to run the table the same as Larry in order to win the rack. And he's also going to have to get a good safety, which that really isn't, but it's not the easiest of cuts. But the cue ball, provided it can go across the table and miss the 8 ball and get a good bounce off the right rail, it'll be back out for the 3. And Larry's trying that, and he's going to scratch again. Not only that, but he has missed the 2, so once again it's second free go for Black Jagged, and he cannot be wasting these opportunities. He has got to take the chance. Now this is crying out for a draw to avoid running into the 8 ball and to get over to this left hand side, down the bottom side for this 4. Well, he's managed to avoid it, but the danger is that and letting it run. I think if he'd played the draw, it would have avoided that line to the corner pocket. So Larry's been gifted another go, and Larry won't waste it this time. And when you're playing players like Larry, Spectre, Dawn, Cobra and the rest of them, you won't get many chances, but if you do get handed a couple of chances, you have to take at least one of them. And if you can't do that, then you're going to pay the price in the end. And I'm afraid Black Jagged's had his chances in this rack. And this is a tough one. And this time it goes in. And it's, well, plain sailing now. Just drop that 8 in, cue ball out into the table over to the left. Where's the cue ball going, Larry? Well, Larry's doing his best to dig himself into a right hole here. Almost scratched the cue ball again. Well, this time in goes the 9. And it's now Larry sitting on the hill, one away from that match with Stefan. And meanwhile, Larry's break is dry and Black Jagged has a shot. Now, let's have a look. I think he could risk trying to get in the gap between the 8 and the 4, but well, he's tried that and he's ran straight into the 8. Well, he could play the safety by pushing the 3 onto the 9. It's dangerous, but he could use the 9 as a stopper. The 9 would go near the pocket and the cue ball would come down this end of the table. Well, he's went all out for the cut. He's got the cut, but he's got no shot in the 4. Well, if you're going to do anything, the one thing is to make sure that Larry doesn't have a shot. Because there's no point in trying some sort of miracle shot here unless he's going for the cross bank past the 5, and that's tight. But it does go. If he doesn't get it first time, it can bank into that one. Well, he's not hit that anywhere near hard enough if that was a shot he was trying to play. But he's left nothing easy. Good shot to start Larry off. He's another good one. He's fairly close to the rail. He's going to have to dig into the cue ball here and leave an awkward cut in this 6. Well, he's trying to run it through with a bit of spin, and that's about the best he could do just to get the cue ball moving over to the left. And now the important one, is Larry risking going across to the right for this 8 ball, because he's got too much angle in the 7 to just draw up to the left, so he's got to go to the right. And there's always a danger if you put too much into this, you can scratch the right middle. He's letting it run, he's taking the risk, and he's got away with it. Now, how straight is he on this? He's pretty straight, but just a straight roll through it, and he should be home and dry. So once again, it's another match where the player's had his chances and he's not taken them, and Larry's managed to go through, and Black Jagged goes to the 1 loss side. Larry wins by 7 racks to 5, so things are moving on now, and we've got Larry against Stefan next. The match between Sergeresh and Shooters Pool Pro. Well, Shooters Pool Pro is getting 7 and out, and he's already 3-0 up in that match. And on the 1 loss side, we've got John Boo and Super Noob at 2 racks all. DJ Redo is already through, waiting to play the winner of that match. And Chase One Around, of course, was advanced by the forfeit of Spectre Dawn, and Black Jagged is now about to play Preacher on the 1 loss side. So on this winner side, we've got Stefan and Larry getting underway. Stefan is getting the 8 ball, and it's a question of whether he can get use of that 8 ball. So we will go in, and presuming Stefan's still about. Let's have a look, see if his name's there. Well, he's in the lobby, so... Oh, here we go. We're all set to go for the lag. And, well, I don't know who's who again. I think Larry's nearest me. And Stefan did win the lag. And he will break. So Stefan is player 2 and he's getting the 8 ball as his extra money ball. And again it's another dry break just to push out from Larry. Well, that could have been so much more trouble for Larry had Stefan played that right and managed to miss the 3. It could have had Larry locked up behind it there. And as it is, there might be enough of this one showed for Larry just to push this down the rail. Yes, there is. So, not a good safety there by Stefan. Larry. Is he playing the cut or is he playing the billiard? Playing the cut onto the 6, the 2 still in play. Now, this is the chance of taking. Well, I mean, he doesn't need to move the 5. The 5 will go, but because it's so adjacent to the 8, you've got to really get good on that 5 to be able to pot it. And considering where the 3 ball is and where the 4 ball is, he's got a heck of an amount of work to do to get there. Big time. The big draw, and he's played it well. And, well, he's going to draw short to the rail. The slightly the wrong angle, and the spin has pushed it out to the left. And that's a good shot. A little bottom and right hand spin on the draw shot there is what kicks the cue ball out and up the table to leave the angle in the 5. That was a good shot. Oh, well, he's breathed a sigh of relief there because that 8 ball was about to lock the door, but it just squirted past. Well, this has all come about, remember, from a poor safety by Stefan. And at this level of game, well, what's Larry done here? I think he's okay. At this level of game, you must make sure that if you're playing a safety, that you get there. And he just left it, I can't remember what ball it was it the 1? Just left it exposed and Larry could just squeeze it down the rail. And that's what ended up in the run out. All from one poor safety shot. And Stefan's got to tighten up. If he'd taken his time and got that right, he could have had Larry in a lot more trouble. And as it is, he's gifted Larry the free go, and Larry's duly obliged and ran the rack. So Larry's 1-0 up. And Larry's got Stefan in trouble. Well, the jump escape, and he'll be happy with the result. And there's the result through. Final rack decider on the 1 loss side. Super Noob has come through 4 racks to 3. Well, that's going to end up safe as well. And the problem with this shot is that trying to get the cue ball away here, you can use the 6 as a stopper, and he's managed to get it thin enough, and he's got distance, Now, has he left a combo? Well, Stefan isn't playing anything like that. And he's not got there. So, ball in hand for Larry. But I think that 6 will go off the jaw. And it did just enough of the jaw to drag that 6 ball in. Now a delicate little cut along the rail, cue ball heading up the table towards the 2. When Larry's missed the cut. And the 2 does go, plenty of room to go past the 8. And I think Stefan's played a cracking shot there if it holds up. He's going to have to play another couple of them though. And Shooters Pool Pro has breezed through that match with Sergaresh. 7-zip in that match. Meanwhile, Stefan, with a lot of work to do here, he's tried to go inside to get on the right side of the 5. Well, the best he was going to be able to do there was an attempted combo in the 9, but he's actually fluked and he's going to scratch now. Oh, it's disaster for Stefan. So Larry can't pot the 5 past the 9, so it's going to have to be the 5-8 combo. Nice and gentle, just to let that 8 ball drop in and keep the 5 there in play. He's going to hang it though. He's hung it gentle and he's left it over the pocket. And Stefan, all he had to do was pop the 8 in with the combo and he's all square. And he's got 3 balls in the break and he's staring down the 1 and he should be home and dry here. Well, this will be a very quick turnaround here for Stefan. Got to get, I mean, there's loads of room to get on this 4 ball. No excuse for not getting on this 4 ball. And if it bounces so he's square, then he can just drop the 5 into the right middle. Nothing having, you don't have to do anything with the cue ball. Just roll it through so that you're staring down the 5. Well, he's actually gone too far, but far enough where he can use the angle off the rail to come across for the 8 ball into the same pocket. That needs to get there, and he's okay. And so Stefan, very quickly, is taking the lead. Into rack number 4. And that result by Shooters Pool Pro has put him into the hot seat match to see who gets to the final. And the winner of this match we're watching, Larry and Stefan, will be playing him next. Let's have a look. Yeah, Super Noob and DJ Redo have just started on their 1 lost side match. So Stefan at the table, and this is the thing, a player like Stefan can pop balls, and he can well make use of this 8 ball, because look at this table just crying out to be ran because of all the room that's available. And this is one critical shot that he's got here, is just getting down onto the 5 off this 4. Loads of room, but there is obstacles he can run into if he's not careful, and he's avoided them. And he's also got a good angle on the 5 just to punch this in and get that cue ball over to the right hand side for the 6 into this left. Well, he's dropping the 5 in to run it into the middle. It might have been better going up the table, but anyway, as long as he drops this in. Now, what does he do here? He can drop in behind the 8 and leave it long into this bottom corner. That would be the safest shot, where the cue ball's not doing anything. But he's actually letting it run the other way, and he's got there. So Stefan looks odds on to be opening up a gap, and it's going to be 3-1. And that's why, if you can pot the balls, you can make the use of your handicap given the chance, and that's the difference. If you're getting the 8 ball, and you do have a chance with an open table, then there's nothing to stop you from running out to the 8 ball, and that's what Stefan has done. And he's not been faltering and making silly mistakes. And likewise, if Larry was at the table, his job is just not to miss. That's why the pressure's on. So it's interesting to see how a player handles a handicap from both sides. The player that's getting it, we know Stefan is good enough to pot balls. He's been a long-term player, and as long as he gets that chance, he's able to take them, especially with balls being wide open. I mean, this has been a doddle, this rack. This has just been like shelling peas, taking candy from a baby, as they say in the States. Just drop the 7 in, and drop the 8 into the middle for a 4-1 lead. And look where the 9 is. I think he's hooked. I think, well, it's a dry break anyway, but I think Larry has got no shot here. But that 9 ball makes this pocket very big for the 2. So Larry has got to be careful here. And he's done the right thing in making sure that the 2 ball was hidden as best he could. So he's conceded the 1 ball to Stefan, but he's done his best to lock away the 2 ball. And Stefan trying to get the cue ball around to open the 2 up. Well, this is going to have to be good, because he's got no room to get to the 2, and he's hit the knuckle. And I'm sure Larry can drop the cue ball right on the rail and just punch that 2 off the 9. Or is he going to try and get it clean? Well, he's got it clean. Back up for the 3. Just drop the 3 into the pocket on the 4. And then back up the table with the cue ball for the 5 into the middle, I would think. And of course, needless to say, a chance like this, Larry cannot make a mistake, cannot do anything, but he's going to have to run the cue ball here from a distance or leave the high cut, and he's leaving the high cut. And the other problem is the 7 ball's not got a pocket in the bottom right hand side now. So gentle cut and leave the 7-9 combo looks like the plan. And I'll tell you something, this could very easily find that point. You've got to get this good just to cut it in and not push it to that point. And he's got it. And Larry has rescued 1 rack. He still trails by 2. and looking for a ball and a shot. That's all he's wanting. And he's not getting either. Dry break. And the only sigh of relief for Larry is that he's not left anything on for Stefan. Now, does Larry think he can get off that rail? I think he's trying to straighten it up to kick it in. Well, he'll take that. He's got the hit and he's left it safe. Well, this is awkward in trying to find a way to get away from that one ball. Well, this time Stefan's got the cover. Not a full snooker, but at least he's covered the one ball enough. And now he's got the chance from that safety of Larry to get well away from the one ball, nice and thin, and get right down the table here. Or is he playing the reverse bank? Well, he's brought it into play. And he's left it on. That wasn't my way of thinking it. I would have been hitting that an awful lot thinner, just to leave it up in that top rail. Well, I suppose that's better than nothing. Larry's got a little brush in the two. He can certainly pop it into the middle, but look where the 3 ball is. Well, he's having to cut it long to try and get in the gap between the 7 and the 4, which makes the pot so much more difficult. It was easier to take it into the middle, but the cue ball was going completely the opposite direction to where the 3 was, so he's taking the more difficult shot. But it was asking an awful lot. And now if Stefan can dig out a shot in this 2 ball, it'll need to be a bloody good shot to get anywhere onto this 3 from the angle he's sitting at. Well, I think he went all out for the cut across the table. It's not a bad outcome, but I think Larry's going to take the bank every day of the week here. That 2 ball is a good bank. Well, maybe he doesn't think he could see it. Maybe he couldn't see enough of it. It looked as if he could from where I was looking, but maybe not. But he's played a good safety. Although, if Stefan can see the edge of the 2, oh, well, he just didn't get enough juice into it. He might still knock the 5 in. Oh, no, it's hanging. Well, anything could have happened here. But Larry's now on the 2 and still got a major problem getting near this 3 ball. Has he found a gap? Is the 6 ball going to block him? Is he going to get there? I think he has. And that's a good shot, but he's going to have to just baby this in nice and gentle to leave him on the short side of the 4. That was as gentle as he could get it. Another testy cut in the 4. Well, ideally, if he ran into the 7, that would maybe help him. Well, it has done, but it's pushed him dangerously close to the 6. And of course, the 5 is hanging over the pocket. It's not a difficult pot. It's an easy kick bank to pot this 5, but he doesn't want to get this clean. He wants to maybe hit the rail. That's a good shot. That is absolutely perfect the way he's hit that. Because look at how he's ended up in the 6. That's an excellent shot. No, I won't Slim, that's what I've been saying the last couple of weeks. Unless tin, which he's never done, changes the start time of Friday night 9-ball. This will be my last one then, if the clocks go back go forward next week, because it means it's starting at 8 o'clock my time, which is too late. If he kept it at 7 my time, it would be fine. I would do a lot more, but this will be my last one until later on in the year when the clocks go back again, unless he changes it. But he's never seemed inclined to do that, whereas I used to always do it. Well, all you need to do is get enough people asking him to change it, and he might do it, but he's never done it. I've asked him often enough, and till I'm fed up doing it. So Larry gets another one on the board from trailing 4-1 down. He's back to 4-3. And the 1 ball goes in the break. A thin cut in the 2. And a really, really difficult shot. Not only to cut the 2, but he's probably, again, if you take your medicine, you cut the 2 and pot it, and then you play a good safety in the 3. I mean, that's all it's crying out for here. Just a half-decent safety in the 3 ball will do. He's went for the bank across the table for the 2 to get down onto the 3, and he's going to fluke the 2. Well, Larry, you're a jammy bugger, because he's landed plumb on the 3, taking a shot on he shouldn't really have taken on, and he may well square the match after that. It's looking highly likely that he's going to square the match, as long as he can stay out in the open for this 6 ball, well away from the 9. Are you not signing up for the virtual 9 ball, Slim? I'll be very disappointed if you're not in that. I think there's about 40 in it at the moment. So you get 2 weeks from tonight to get practicing. 2 weeks tonight it starts. Well, Larry, from 4-1 down, has now got it back all square. Mind you, he got lucky in that rack. Extremely lucky, but it's not about how lucky you get, it's how much you make use of that luck. He got the fluke, but he run out in the end, which is the most important thing. Yeah, there's nothing on the homepage, you know, they haven't got round to doing that. Tin still left a cow as the picture for the bloody tournament. He hasn't even bothered to change that. But, oh yeah, I'll be streaming matches, provided I can get them at a suitable time. Now, as Larry got past the 4, he's just got there. Now, who are you addressing that question to, Bankster? Are you talking to Slim? Well, Larry, wide open table now. It's going to be, well, it looks like 4 in a row for Larry. I take it you've heard what happened to Shooter's Pool, Slim? Well, there was a major fire at the database or the data centre. I think it was in Strasbourg, which is, I can't remember what country it's in. Somebody, yes, what do you call him? If Bedhead's there, he'll know. It burnt out a number of servers. And this is quite a big company that quite a few online gaming companies use. For example, Eurotruck, which is a multiplayer mod, they went down, but amongst them was Shooter's Pool, whose servers get burnt out, and they've been down for the last 4 or 5 days now, since the fire. So if you go to Shooter's Pool and try and load up the game, all you'll get is a black screen, but you'll also get a second screen that will give you a link to the story that tells you that was reported by Reuters about the fire. Anyway, Larry 5-4 up, and also the 2 ball in the break and a shot in the 1. Yeah, that's what some of the guys were thinking as well. So, Bankster, you're asking me why I don't play. Or why I don't play in the tournament. Well, there's a few reasons. Most of them are very relevant. Because basically, my eyes have gone. I don't get enough practice. My work hours prevent me from spending a lot of time playing the game. So I don't have that amount of free time available now to put as many hours in. You need to put, I mean, even though it's a game, you need to put table time in if you're going to be of a reasonable standard. I've never been a great standard at 9 ball anyway, and age has caught up with me, I'm afraid. So I'm a man that knows my limitations. So I would much rather criticise people in commentary than actually make an arse of it myself. To be honest with you, no, I just don't get enough time to play. If I could play an awful lot more, then I'd be. I mean, at this time of night, the problem is I'm really tired. I should be in bed right now, and when I get home from work, bear in mind I'm up at 4:30 every day. It's a tiresome day, and it's even more tiresome when you're wanting to go to bed but you're trying to play some virtual pool. It doesn't work. It's not a good combination. There was times in the past when I had a lot more time available with different circumstances, but now that isn't the case. Oh, where's the cue ball going? Oh, he's okay. Well, this will take Larry to the hill. Yes, I do, as a matter of fact, because I'm starting at 6 AM. I'm finishing. Well, the way it's working now, I'm finishing at half past midday, and then I've got the rest of the day to myself. But the rest of the day consists of me. I mean, for example, every day I finish at 12:30. It's 25 minutes to get home, and then of course it's get changed, get something to eat, and when I do get something to eat, I fall asleep for maybe half an hour, because that's the the lack of sleep catching up with me already. I always have to have a nap in the afternoon now. Or even if I don't want to, my body tells me I have to. Yeah, it's just a case of age is catching up with us. Because from 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, me and my colleagues are rushed off our feet running around that store, and it's a big store. It's the biggest store in Scotland, and there's a lot of acreage to cover. So there was an unseen prophecy when I chose my virtual pool name, and chose my name as 9ball.com. Little did I know 20 years ago when I chose that name that I would end up working in .com. Well, I'll be 57 in August, and it's in the last 10 years that I've found out that I need a nap in the afternoon. Well, Larry, from trailing 4-1, he hasn't really missed an awful lot. There's been not an awful lot of errors, and which is what he has to do considering the run that Stefan got from 1 each to be leading 4-1. And having said that, Stefan has been given a chance to get it back to within 1. No, my phone, I don't have any apps on my phone. I've not got any, because mine is a pay-as-you-go phone, but I've got no credit on it either. I only use the phone at work to check stock. That's the only app that is on the phone. But I can tell you, at a rough guess, I'm guessing that on a conservative estimate, I'm probably doing about 15 miles every day. That's a conservative guess. It might be more than that. It's probably not less than that, but it's bound to be about 15 miles. Well, Stefan's got it back to within 1. He's made a bit of a hash in the 1 ball there, and that might be his last shot. If Larry can somehow get onto this 2 ball. Yeah, I would love to have one of those. You know, you can get those things for your ankles, can't you? That check you. You know, you have to input what your measurement of your step is, and then you work out how many yards it is, or how many meters or miles it is. But I'm guessing it is at least 15 miles. It's probably more than that. I'll tell you something, see at the end of a shift, it bloody well feels like a half marathon every day. And when you go home and you sit in front of the TV, you've had a little snack and a cup of coffee, and the next thing you know, you've dozed off. That's your body telling you that you shouldn't be doing stuff like that at this age. Well, this is going to be the critical one, getting to this 5. Does he want to leave the 5-7 combo? It's a bit dangerous because he's going to have to cut that 5 onto the 7. And that's what Larry's going to do. Now, this 5 ball could end up going safe. This is not a guaranteed certainty here. The cut isn't a problem. The 5 ball is a problem where it might end up. And Larry's taking the hit and hoping it runs open, and it has done. He just didn't know where it was going to end up. And he's got another major problem. The 5 ball stuck in the corner. He's having to jack the cue up big time to get this cue ball out of there. Or is he trying to pinch it? He's trying to cut it into the pocket to let it run down the right side. And he's almost got there. Still the pressure's on. And of course, if he misses the 8, Stefan just needs to roll it in to take us to a final rack. But in it goes. And he's sitting pretty in the 9. What the hell's that? Arabic. And Larry goes through by 7 racks to 5. Right, so now we have a hot seat match between Shooters Pool Pro, who, remember, was getting 7 and out against Sergaresh, and he's probably going to get, what's he getting? The 6 ball against Larry. And Shooters Pool Pro won his last match 7-0. Meanwhile, on the one loss side, we've got Super Noob and Stefan about to go head to head. And Sergaresh is waiting for the loser. I think he is anyway, isn't he? Aye, the loser, sorry, not the loser. The winner of the match between Chase One Around and Black Jagged. And Chase One Around is getting 6 and out and is 3-1 up against Black Jagged. Let's have a quick look at that one. Now, the easy explanation as to why Chase One Around is 3-1 up is simply because Black Jagged's been making mistakes at the wrong time. Because when you're given 6 and out, you make the mistake at the wrong end of the table at the wrong time. It's just a gift for your opponent. Right, what does that say, Bankster? It looks like Arabic. Is it Arabic for good night? Well, Chase One Around's missed. And Boris, or Black Jagged, needs to use a bit of cunning here to drop over for that 7. God please you, 9ball.com. That's a good shot. Needs another good one to get on this 8 though. And of course, this is exactly the point I'm making. If Black Jagged can't get to this 8 ball and get good on it, he's going to lose the match if he can't keep it safe. And this is a tall order because he's entirely the wrong angle in this 8 ball. He's going to have to go full-blooded for the cut of the bank. He's going full-blooded for the cut, and he's going to leave Chase One Around a shot for the match. But that's probably the way this match has gone. I'm pretty certain this is how it's ended up, with Black Jagged just not getting there and leaving chances, and far too many of them. And Chase One Around is through. So that now means that he moves through to play Sergaresh, and the Super Noob and Stefan match is underway. Super Noob getting, I think that's the 8 ball, is it? But Stefan's up 1-0, and meanwhile we're going to go back and join this hot seat match. And this match is between Larry and Shooters Pool Pro. Shooters Pool Pro, say that again. Shooters Pool Pro getting the 6 ball. race to 19 isn't too long. I wanted it race to 21 on the winner's side. But at least a race to 19 gives a chance for the match to swing and turn, especially with been winner breaks and with jump queues on, and golden breaks as well. You know, a standard proper 9-ball tournament. A match that can swing backward and forward, so it can. So Larry 1-0 up and about to go 2-0 if he can drop right onto that top rail for the 9-ball. Oh, you're a bunch of pussies, for God's sake. I'll tell you something. See, when you're 13-11 behind Cobra, you'll be glad it's a race to 19 than rather than a race to 15. And it's plus the fact it's a championship, so it's a test of endurance as well. So Larry 2-0 up. Well, Larry's missed the cut in the one, but more importantly, Shooters Pool Pro has a chance. And again, at this stage, when you're getting the 6 ball, got to be able to run those balls to get that far. Now there's a gap between the 6 and 9, but he's trying to hold for the 4 long, and he's just got the 3 in the hole. 5 goes past the 8, so just kill the cue ball would be the order of the day. Well, we did enough virtual 9-ball world championships. I ran enough of them in GameSpy, and we had races to 21 in the first round, races to 31 in the second round, up to the semi-finals, which were a race to 35, and then the finals a race to 41. And we used to get like 70 and 80 odd people in them. A lot more than we got in here. And we had some brilliant matches. Brilliant semi-final matches and final matches. And that one where Stubb beat Albie, I think it was I think he beat Albie 41-9 or something in that match. That was the only big tournament Stubb won. But he ran away with it against Albie. Meanwhile, Shooters Pool Pro has found a way to scratch, and that has given Larry ball in hand, and that 3 ball, plenty of room past the 5. Now is he going to do the little stun down past the middle pocket in the left? Far enough. And he's going to scratch. Well, there you go. He didn't get into it enough. He had to get a bit more drag into that. And it's given Shooters Pool Pro a second bite at the cherry, which he simply cannot afford to waste. He's got to get to the 5. where's the cue ball going? Well, I'll tell you where it's going. Straight in the hole. And that was not the way to play it to get to the 5. I mean, there's a safer way to play it, and that's the way you had to play it. And, well, Shooters Pool Pro's just fallen into the trap. Had a chance to square the match. And he's pretty much handed it back in a plate to Larry, although Larry's still got to get good on this 9, but it's going to be looking like from the left hand side of the table. Now that needs to bounce just to make it a wee bit simpler, but this for 3-1. Well, Larry's going to have, well, provided the match takes the same shape as it is, he's going to have a way, put it this way, whoever gets through in this match is going to have a, 25 half an hour break before the final, to once these remaining matches and the one lost side are all played. But Shooters Pool Pro's going to have to take his chances, cannot afford to waste them. You're not going to get many, and when you do get them, you have to make the most of them, especially if you're getting to the 6 ball. And that, I'm afraid, is not a great safety. But Larry can certainly cut it, but can he leave a sight on this 3 ball? And I think he can. That's not bad. Now, is he going to just hit the rail and clip the 3 and try and miss the 5? Or is he going to try and come back across? Because running into the 5 was always the danger. He's nudged it out of the way, and that'll do. He's sitting pretty at the moment. Well, for anybody who has joined us late and doesn't know or hasn't heard, Virtual Pool 4 Online is up and running. The servers are all okay. Our main rival, Shooters Pool, is down and out, and has been for the last 4 days, because their servers were in the same unit or data centre, I think in Strasbourg, where they had a major fire that caused a fair bit of damage, and Shooters Pool servers have been burnt out, and they're obviously looking for a solution to get back up and running. So they are not available at present. But we have not seen a big influx of Shooters Pool players coming over to Virtual Pool 4. What's the odds on someone doing 3 or more consecutive breaks and runs in the World Championship? Well, the odds are pretty good. Well, that 3 balls kicked the cue ball in, or was it the cue ball, or was it the 9? What the hell happened here? Well, it was the 9 that went in. The 9's been respotted, and there's the result through. Chase one around has beaten Sergeresh 4-0. Yeah, there's fair odds of somebody running 3 racks, no problem. But I would say if you were going to, I would actually equate if somebody broke and ran. Well, how many racks do you have to open in straight pool? Let's work that out. That's 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. Well, that's like 6 and 7 racks. So if somebody broke and ran 7 racks in the 9-ball tournament, that would be impressive. Well, of course, there's a chance of that happening in this tournament simply because it ain't bloody alternate break and all that rubbish. And there's another result through, and both from the one loss side, of course. And Stefan has beaten Super Noob by 4 racks to 0. So Larry 4-1 up. Wide open table here. If he can get the pot in the 4 and get on the 5, well, he's pushed it to the rail too soon. And he might well have escaped though. He certainly has done. Shooters Pool Pro's got an easy kick. But again, just has to hit and hope that he gets it safe. And that is not a bad outcome. Settle for that. I'm definitely falling asleep here. Why did I think that was a good safety shot? I'm too busy reading the chat. I'm distracting myself from what's happening. Larry's got a free go. And I'm getting really tired now. What time is it? It's 20 past 9. Well, Larry can certainly run the 7 in and run the cue ball in behind the 8 and around the corner now. Or he can try and jag into it and stun it across. Well, I've given up the cigarettes, at least I have done, for more than a week. Is it a week now? I haven't had one. Or I should say I haven't bought any. Let's put it that way, and I haven't had any because of that. But I'm not taking, you know, people talking about, you know, start going to vaping and start doing this, or nicotine patches. As I said before, you either give it up, and when you give it up, that is it, you don't take them. What's the point in stopping smoking and saving money when you then go and spend your money on something exactly as a substitute for it? So I'm just going cold turkey, absolutely nothing. And I have to say the worst time is always after a meal. It's actually every time I've had a meal, you know, and I'm sitting down with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, I've just got a craving for a cigarette, because that's usually always when I have one. But that already is beginning to go, and I think the other thing I've found is that as long as you can keep your mind off the subject, then you're less likely to be craving a cigarette. So as long as I'm distracted, and as long as I ignore the urge to purchase them when I'm actually near the kiosk that sells them, then I don't see there being a problem. But like I said, I think I said last week, I'm looking to get a new webcam. This Logitech 920 that I've got, a perfectly good webcam, there's nothing wrong with it, but I want it only streams in 1080 at 30 FPS. So I want to upgrade to that. Now that I've got this Razer headset, which is excellent, I'm happy to say, that Razer webcam that's available is excellent as well, but it's 200 quid. Which is, I mean, when you say 200 quid for a webcam, the one that I've got cost me 90 at the time, or just short of 100. But this new one is, it looks more like a lens for a camera, if you know what I mean. It's not one of these little oblong webcams, a sort of traditional shape. It's actually looks like a lens off the front of a camera. And that's the one I've set my mind on. Now, when you think of the price at £200, which sounds expensive, it's still 50 quid cheaper than the Logitech alternative. That Logitech Brio. But if you then look at it from another perspective, from my perspective, that is actually just 2 purchases of 100 cigarettes. That would buy me that web camera, and I spend that a week, or I was spending that a week on cigarettes, £100 each week and more. You know, if I wasn't working, if I was off on holiday for a week, I was spending more. So when you get things into perspective like that, you're saving an absolute fortune, and then it can go to something that's more worthy. But anyway, oh dear, what Shooter's Pool Pro done here? I'll tell you what he's done. He's sold himself down the Swanee River with that shot. Now, bedhead. You want to get your priorities right here. The idea of stopping eating, that is not generally considered as good advice. What you should have said is stop eating all the things that are bad for you. So if you're going to have a vice, my vice is Chinese. That I'm afraid is the one thing that I can't give up. Anyway, Larry, 1 away from the final, 6-1 up. Good shot in the 1, and well, we all know if he can get good on the 3, he's home and dry, and he can go and get a coffee or something a bit stronger if he wants. Oh, there's nothing like a good cigarette after you've had your dinner, I'll tell you. And how's Larry's luck? Oh, he's going to spin dead onto the 3. So he may well just look to run for cover here. I mean, the other thing about it is, I mean, if you're sitting in front of a keyboard, and obviously, like I am, you've got cigarette ash everywhere. In the keyboard, if I tipped my keyboard upside down and I gave it a tap in the back, you know, you'd have cigarette ash all over the desk, and there's ash all over the desk anyway, because cigarette ash gets everywhere. So it does. Absolutely everywhere. But no, I was never ever going to do vaping or anything silly like that. To me, that's silly. It's a silly excuse for not smoking. I suppose the idea of just inhaling something as a substitute, well, that's fine if you want to do it, but you know, my idea of giving it up is saving money, but not saving money to spend it on something else that just costs just about as much money when you're buying the liquids and everything else you have to get for it. So I don't think that is a good option. So Larry, just doing the formalities here, and Shooters Pool Pro will move over to that one lost side, and Larry can have a break. And the tournament's now been on for 2.5 hours. We started at 7 PM. It's now 9:30 GMT, my time. And a quick look, and we will see that, well, just behind the chat, Larry's there. He's in the hot seat, and he's waiting on the person that's going to fill that part of the bracket there, and it's going to come, of course, from the one lost side. And at the moment, Shooters Pool Pro has moved into the bracket there, and he's waiting on the winner of Chase One Around and Stefan. Chase One Around getting 6 and out, which again is a hefty handicap, and Stefan up against it. Oh, Stefan's already got one back. Now trails by 1. Oh dear. I'm getting really tired. Well, the push out has been passed. Chase One Around put back in. 2 ball is safe next to the 3, so there's nothing doing there. Well, that double kiss there has actually done him a favour because it's put him safe. Well, potting that 1 ball like that was always going to give you no chance of getting on the 2. And probably the safest shot is to kick at the 2, because if you just skim off it, you're probably going to scratch. Just a kick and hope. Well, the potting angle for Stefan, okay, this isn't easy, but the cue ball's running behind the 4 and around the corner. How's his luck going to be though? It is not too bad. Could have ended up worse than that. And this is the type of thing that Stefan's under pressure at, because again we've seen how he used to handicap earlier on in the tournament, and now he's in the same situation where he's given 6 and out and cannot afford 1 mistake, because any of these balls will do for his opponent, so he's got to get everything. Can't be giving stuff away. Well, good evening to all the latecomers. You're only 2.5 hours late, Mr. Mooncake. Oh dear, and that's exactly what I've spoken about. You cannot do that, Stefan, because it's a 3-1 gift for Chase One Around. And any more pace than that, and that cue ball was gone. And that's the problem. It's when players like Stefan are against that sort of handicap that they are then asked to prove that they can pot balls and continue to do so. It's a tall order to keep doing it, especially now that he's on the brink. He's trailing 3-1. Chase 1 around's broke dry. Stefan's not got an easy start. And that is the worst shot of the night, right there. That is the worst shot of the night. Thin edge off the one, scratch. No, that's what I was saying earlier, Mooncake. I mean, we had 74 I counted earlier on tonight. Let's have a look. There's the tab. We're down to 55 now because obviously it's getting later at night over here. But we had 74, which was, being honest with you, was maybe up 1 or 2. But we haven't had an influx of shooters pool players because they're getting over 100 every night. We've never seen 100, not really, and certainly not anything on a regular basis near 100. Well, no, had they seen the light and now realised that the shooters pool's been down for like 3-4 days, you know, our numbers would have shot up to 100 anyway. So clearly these people have probably got the offline version and would much rather play that than they would to come here, which tells you a lot about Virtual Pool 4. You know, why aren't they coming here? Because even though Shooters Pool isn't there, they still prefer it and would prefer not to come here as an alternative. In fact, the other thing is, most of the players that are on there haven't played Virtual Pool 4. There are a few that left here and went to Shooters Pool, but most of the players that are on there haven't played Virtual Pool 4 and probably maybe don't even know it's available. And we all know why that is, because they were never ever told about it. They never got to see it anywhere. So Stefan again under pressure, trailing 3-1 and having to dig out a cut or a bank on this 8 ball, and this is taking the same sort of line as the last rack, so you just cannot make one error because this is sitting on a plate here for Chase 1 around. If he doesn't get this, he'll be very lucky to leave it safe, but he's dug out a pot and that was a cracking shot under pressure, and now he has to roll the 9 in. And back to within 1. And a couple of balls in the break. In fact, 3 balls in the break, I think, and he's on the 2. We've lost the 1. The 4, the 5. Well, he's not followed through with that to get the draw on it. I think the danger would have been scratching as well, but he's got a 3-9 combo. And all of a sudden, we're in a final rack decider. Well, Stefan, the 4 and the 5 have gone all out for the pot and the 1, and now Chase 1 around. The pressure's on because he's at the table. He's got a chance to see out this match if he can get up to the 6 ball and including the 6 ball. That's one thing that has gone right over my head. This Bitcoin thing, I have not got I've not got the foggiest idea of how this concept works. That's one thing I've never read into and I've never looked up. And I have not, all I know is it's called Bitcoin. As to what it is and what it does and what you benefit from it, I have not got a Scooby. Not a simple clue at all. I don't know what you do, I don't know where you go, I don't know anything, absolutely nothing about Bitcoin. Yet I hear everybody talking about it. Well, that doesn't explain anything. Well, Stepan looks as if he's going to seal the deal. And he's done well to come back the way he has done, especially in that last rack. That was under pressure. And he's done well to see it through. And it's 3 in a row for Stepan to pinch the match on that last rack. And so we have what will now be the semi-final match between Stepan and Shooters Pool Pro. And Larry is going to have another, well, 15-20 minutes before he's going to have his opponent. And somebody's still asleep in that room by the look of it. So we're in on time, waiting on Stepan arriving. And off we go for the lag. Well, the one at the top's won, which is Shooters Pool Pro. So remember, 1 lost side, race to 4. Well, 5 and 6 are locked up, so until something happens there, nobody's winning this rack. Player 2 is Shooters Pool Pro, who's getting the 7 ball. But Stepan is getting down and dirty. He's got Shooters Pool Pro locked up behind, I think, the 4 ball. Shooters Pool Pro, good kick. And he's got it pretty safe. Although if Stepan can get the thin edge and just kill the cue ball to the rail, he'll have Shooters Pool Pro tied up again. Well, he's gone the other way. Not a complete snooker. Now the thing is, if Shooters Pool Pro pushes this down, he may well break the 5 and the 6. No, he's pushed it away. Well, I'll be honest with you, I've not seen an awful lot. I'm going by the quality of what I've seen in some of the live streams, which has not been that good. But then again, most of the live streams that you'll see in Shooter's Pool are, it would be like me going into a tournament and just playing, so you're watching me rather than actually me watching a tournament. It's usually just guys that are playing and streaming themselves most of the time. I don't think I've seen one yet where somebody's commentating in a tournament. It's all just been, look at me. And then when I've watched them, the quality's not been that good. I've not been impressed, shall we say. So it should be quite easy for some of the quality players over here to nip over there and raid their bank balances. But the other thing about Shooter's Pool is there's a whole. VP4's the same, but there's a whole different, different levels of quality. You've got all those ones that are all locked away in their rooms with tracking lines on all the time, so they're never going to change, and they're never going to get better because they're playing it the way they like it. And if they're always playing with tracking lines on, they're not going to have any great deal of knowledge or skill about them. That's the one downside. If you want to have a downside for having tracking lines available should players want them, then it's simply that they will never improve the game. They'll just play at the same level all the time. Whereas with Virtual Pool 4, when you go online, if you're used to tracking lines offline, then you'll get scared away, or you will dig deep and you will look to advance your game when you come online. I think it's the opposite though. Most players that have been so used to offline play, they come online, they get scared away when they come into VP4. If they come in and they bump into Cobra or Larry or players like that, or Bill or whoever, and they get skinned alive for 4 or 5 racks in a row, then they're unlikely to hang around. Whereas in Shooter's Pool, you can lock yourself in your room with your mate, have the tracking lines on and play to your heart's content, but have no real learning curve at all. The game won't have a learning curve as long as you have tracking lines online, but you have to go with the majority. And it might be one reason that Shooter's Pool has got 100 odd people in it at a night, and we don't. The trouble with VP4 is that when you look at how Shooter's Pool is, VP4 doesn't give people what they want. People over there can set their own tournaments as and when they want them. People over there can set rooms the way they want them. There's loads of things that they've got. They've got a much better choice and much better prices for products that they might want to buy for their game. There's loads of things that Shooter's Pool's got good that Steve's concept of his pricing policy has been totally misjudged. If you compare it to Shooter's Pool, he's asking ridiculous amounts of money for a queue that makes no difference to your game, really, than a queue that's 4 times the price. I mean, to ask for a queue that in real money costs £30 is ridiculous for a game, when the game itself is $29.99. And his pricing policy there is just totally warped. That's one of the things that's wrong. And you don't have that choice that you have over there in Shooters. But that's maybe what players want. Well, to put it another way, there's something that the people like better in Shooters Pool than they do in Virtual Pool 4. There's a big difference as to why there is 100 odd people in there every night, and there has never been 100 in shooters in Virtual Pool. So you have to look at the whole wider picture of what they have there and what's available and what choices people have. People like choice. If they like choice in terms of games that are available, they would come to Virtual Pool 4. But when you look at the available choice of games that they have in Virtual Pool 4, that's fine. But when you consider that only 5 or 6 of those games are regularly played by players, then it makes no difference to the fact that Shooters Pool has less choice available. But the choices that are available are the more important games. So you've got to keep asking questions as to what they're doing right that Virtual Pool 4 has totally missed. And that's the only things I can think of. They don't seem to have... I don't seem to see any sort of... what do you call it? Moderators in the chat lobby. If they are, they're hidden. I've never seen any moderation done, not that I've been there on any sort of regular basis to see anything like that. They don't have that. You don't have super admins visible in the chat lobby. You don't have admins of any description visible. I would love to be able to work it out, but there is something that they're doing a lot better that Virtual Pool 4 has totally missed. Well, I don't think he's ever done that. That's his biggest mistake. I'd be surprised if he has done. I think he goes from the point of view he's more interested in what this place is doing, but I don't think he's interested enough. If he was, he would go and find out. The one thing about business of any description I've always said is that you've got to find out what the opposition are up to. He surely must see the lobby chat. I mean, I've typed in often enough that there's 100 odd people in the lobby. And you cannot rest on your laurels and just tread water. We've treaded water for 8 years, and I think we've all lost hope that anything's going to further change this game or improve it in any way. It would need such a major overhaul. It would be like restarting again, right from scratch. And I think it's way beyond that ever going to happen. And we're just going to wallow around with 50 or 60 in the lobby on a regular basis and never hit any sort of reasonable number. In fact, I'm surprised the game still survived so long. That's the biggest surprise I've got out of the whole thing, as to the fact that it's still online and has not died and not had to shut up shop. Anyway, Stefan is in the same situation he was in his last match on the one-loss side. He's now trailing 3-1. Shooters Pool Pro getting the 7 ball. And Stefan in a no-miss situation. That is very unlikely to happen as well, Mooncake. You've got to remember how Seller is sold out to Interplay initially. Interplay were the publishers of Virtual Pool 3, so they had the rights to the game when Virtual Pool 3 was launched. And not just Virtual Pool 3, Virtual Pool Hall and Virtual Pool, I think before that it was Interplay that were the publishers. And then, as far as No Interplay went out of business, but Celeris had to buy out Virtual Pool 3 so that they could then relaunch it as another CD. They had another publisher. I can't remember who the other publisher was when it came out in a jewel case. I bought 2 or 3 of them. But anyways, Steve had a lot of money to spend in actually buying the rights back for the game. So now he's the sole owner of his own game again. And the idea of him retiring or whatever happening and the game continuing, well, he would have to have already made prior arrangements for that to happen. But I would think that I'd be very surprised if anything like that was in place. Yeah, well, it's something one way or the other is going to happen at some point. It's just a question of how long it's going to take. Well, Stefan's hanging on by the skin of his teeth tonight. He survived one scare in his last match. And Shooters Pool Pro is at the table, needing 1 rack to go through to the final, and needing to get to that 7 ball, which is not quite going to be so easy if he doesn't get good off this 4 onto the 5. Well, that's a bit like putting Laurel and Hardy in charge of Virtual Pool 4, isn't it? Go down that road. Well, Shooters Pool Pro, 6 ball long into the corner pocket and a 7 ball for the match. And so Shooters Pool is through by 4 racks to 2. And Stefan had a good run, but in the end the handicap was the undoing of him. He couldn't do it 2 in a row. And so, with the time at 5 minutes to 10, just 5 minutes short, or virtually, of the 3 hours, we have a final, and the final is between Larry and Shooters Pool Pro in a race to 9, and Shooters Pool Pro will be getting a reasonable handicap against Larry. And that is Larry nearest me. That's his cue. And Larry's won the lag and will break. I would say couple of hundred grand. Not much more, I wouldn't think. I think if you look at it from the different versions that there are of Virtual Pool, there's like what, 4 or 5 different versions for all the different mobile devices and stuff. It might be worth a bit more. Could be worth a lot more. I mean, I haven't a clue as far as that. I'm just totally guessing off the top of my head. So, Shooters Pool Pro, player 2 on the HUD at the top of the screen is getting a 6 ball. well, you've got to consider the fact that if you had played Virtual Pool back in the day in 1995, Virtual Pool Hall, or Virtual Pool 2, Virtual Pool Hall, and then Virtual Pool 3, the only thing that was different really is the graphics improvements at the time in Virtual Pool 3, which if you compare them nowadays, they're nothing great, but there were big improvements there. In terms of the game physics never really changed at all, but the major change was from the ground up as far as Virtual Pool 4 goes. Totally different. In terms of the game physics, everything completely changed. There's nothing in Virtual Pool 4 that you could any way describe as similar to Virtual Pool 3. Not a single thing, shot-wise or anything like that. I mean, in Virtual Pool 3, the one thing you could do, if, for example, let me think. Let's say you were playing, what was the regular shot? I mean, for example, in Virtual Pool 3, on, let's say that's a triangle. No, that's not the triangle. Triangle's there. Let me get my red one out. Right, Virtual Pool 3. If you were playing straight pool in Virtual Pool 3, and bear in mind One Eye only ever plays straight pool, he would call the top ball into that pocket, and the way he would break, that ball would go into that pocket every time virtually. There was a lot of predictive stuff going on in Virtual Pool 3. That's because Virtual Pool 3 never had this sort of random rack thing. And when we did initial testing in Virtual Pool 4, Larry was breaking and the 9 ball was finishing here most of the time or going in. He was doing a break that the 9 ball would end up going over this pocket or going into it all the time, and then Steve brought in this sort of random rack element to it that completely changed the game that way. But the other thing you could do in Virtual Pool 3 is you could put lots of spin in the cue ball. If, for example, let's say the 2 ball was over the pocket and the 1 ball was there. If you didn't want to bank the 1 ball down into this pocket, you could slam the 1 ball, put loads of top spin on the cue ball, and the cue ball would go like that, and it would hit the 2 and knock it in, because the spin would really, really overreact in VP3. There was stuff like that, where you could really fire the cue ball all sorts of ways. But you can't do that in Virtual Pool 4. It's a lot more sort of realistic in that sense. So it was a total game engine change when Virtual Pool 4 was developed. And that would have been going on for a lot of years before it saw the light of day. And bear in mind the game's been around since 2012 now. Or whenever it was. It's 8 years now anyway. 8-9 years. But it's basically stood still and stagnated for 8 of those years. Well, Shooters Pool Pro. has got there. And that's 2-0. Ball in the break. And a shot on the 1. And the 2's in the open. The 3 though is guarded by the 8. That's a good safety. That's got Larry in trouble. And the only good thing about that is the fact that the 6 ball's blocked to the top pocket, but at least Larry's hit the 2 and he's got it safe. Because if Larry had missed that 2, Shooters Pool Pro would have had ball in hand for the 2 onto the 8 for the rack. But now he's going to have to kick at the 2. I think that middle pocket might be in the way almost of the line that he needs to get to get onto this 2. Or maybe just past it. Let's see. Yeah, he's going short. So Larry's got his reward. He's got an awful lot of work to do here because the 3 ball ain't going anywhere as long as the 8 ball stays there. Well, Larry went round to have a look at the 3-8 combo, but he's not ideal for that. But again, this is a pressure shot because if he leaves this hanging, it's a gift for 3-0 here to Shooters Pool Pro. He can't hit this soft. He's got to hit this firm. Make sure that that 8 ball gets away from there if it doesn't go in. Well, he's played it pocket weight, taking a big risk. Well, I think he's got to go top rail, bottom rail and back up the table here. I don't know whether he can baby this in and hold it for the 4. Got to go back up the top rail and back down. The safest route to leave him a shot. And as long as he doesn't get right on the rail, he's got enough room to manoeuvre and get out and across for the 5 around the angles. Where's that cue ball going? Well, he doesn't want to go dead straight, but he's pretty much that. He's going to have to work it again. And it's going to have to be a really firm shot to get this cue ball moving. Now, what does he want to do here? Does he want to come back off the 6 and into the table? Or does he want to risk running it forward? Because he's risking running into the 9 ball if he does that. Well, this is another toughie. But this to get on the board. So Larry's off and running. But no joy. Alright, good night, miasma. I should be bidding good night as well. It's well past my bedtime. That's going to lock up. Oh dear. Not a great safety. Not much thought put into that. Okay, it's not an odds-on certainty Larry's going to do anything to run out here because it's not a pretty table. 7 balls awkward. 4 balls awkward. That is not an easy shot. Now, bear in mind, the shot that he's played there is absolutely no shot in the 5 ball, so I don't know what he was thinking. And that's going to scratch, or is it going to stay up? Oh, I just caught the jaw. But Larry can breathe a sigh of relief there. Or can he? Well, that was a cracking cut by Shooters Pool Pro, and he's on the 6 for a 3-1 lead. And 5 ball goes in. 3 balls hanging over the pocket. Look where the 1 sat though. Well, this 1 ball is... Well, it is cuttable and he's not going to scratch off it, but he's hampered by the 7. And he's going to have no shot in the 2. Although he could try and play some sort of billiard to knock the 3 in. One way or another, he could play a slam onto the 9 off the 2 just to try and nudge something towards that corner pocket. Yeah, he's had a blast. And look what's happened. He's left the 2 hanging and he's left Larry locked up. Well, what you mean to say there, Potman, is he kept the team in the tournament. Bear in mind there was only 2 teams in it. So that bit of luck there, that good fortune for Shooters Pool Pro, and that miss by Larry has given him ball in hand. And well, it's not going to be difficult as long as he keeps taking the chances he's getting, because he's odds on to be 4-1 in front. And there it is. And Larry's now got a lot of work to do. And this is where everything reverses with the handicap. Larry is given the 6 ball, which anything up into the 4 and the 5 ball, Larry can't really afford to start missing, because that's just going to gift the very likelihood of Shooter's Pool coming to the table and potting a couple of balls just to win the rack. So Larry's under pressure in every shot. And he couldn't be in a worse situation with it all to do, trailing 4-1 and not sitting very nice on the 4. And well, he's nudged the 5 in. That's not done him any favours, because he's finished top rail on this 6 ball, and this is tight into the middle. And again, this is a perfect situation. If he misses this 6 ball, it's more or less going to be a gift for Shooter's Pool Pro. And he's nudged it on to the jaw, and Shooter's Pool Pro with a 6-9 combo. I thought it was a 9 ball as well. Oh, I did it. Was it not the servers that went funny on Monday? And the tournament had to get, I think they all get refunded, did they not? Well, he's missed it, and Larry breathes again. And Larry will be going for the cut in the 6. He's going to run into the 8. He's got to be on the 7. Well, that 8 ball, he's got to really... Well, he's running round the corner to get over to the side. He's okay. Well, this 9 to get Larry back within touch and distance. Still trailing by 2. And needs the break to work for him. Needs a ball and a shot, but we haven't really seen much of that. Not with this rack money. It makes a big difference. This is the final. Oh, good evening, Tam. This is tonight's final. Race tonight. Larry's giving away the 6 ball. The push out played. And Larry's got a free go in the 1. Now, he can stun across between the gap with the 5 and 7. He can run that, well, that's not right, hang on a minute. He can run that down there and stun across here. Well, he's gone the top side. He's got there. That's one way of doing it. He could have stunned across. And I'll tell you why. The other thing is that the 7 ball is awkward as well. So if he didn't get good on it, he could have played a good snooker. But every time Larry's at the table, he's under the same situation with every shot. Has to pot it. The one benefit Larry's got this time is the 6 ball's already gone, so Shooters Pool Pro doesn't have his money ball. So he's got all the work to do just as much as Larry has. Because it's not 6 and out, remember. It's only the 6 ball. But can Larry get out and across, avoiding the 8 and leaving himself on the 5? He's going to be playing it a wee bit further away. Now, he's got slightly the wrong side of the 5. He's did well to hold that for the 7. Now again, he can baby this in or punch it in, depending where he wants to play this 8 ball. He's just, oh dear, and there's the mistake. And that's what Larry cannot afford to do, but now Shooters Pool Pro has got 3 balls to pot. I don't know, I can't remember. I don't know whether it went on the break or not, or whether it got nudged or comboed in or something by Larry, I don't know. But the mistake was from Larry, and Larry's paid the price. And he's now trailing by 3 again. It's 5-2. Shooters Pool Pro. 7 ball goes in, I think, but the cue ball has gone as well. And the other... no, I thought that was the 6 ball up. The 6 ball's down there. So Larry's now got ball in hand. And the 5 ball is slightly awkward. Just hampered by that 9. Especially where the 4 ball is as well. The 4 ball is not easy to get to. But he's more than likely going to end up playing it from there. Pot the 3, play the 4. Now it's a simple roll through for that 5 into the middle. Got to go far enough though. What he really wants to be doing is potting this 4 and rubbing off the 9 so he can get out for the 6, and that looks exactly what's going to happen. He's just going to brush off the 9 and run into the middle of the table. Well, he hasn't quite, he's got that a lot thicker than I thought he would. And now he's got a dilemma, because strictly speaking he should run it that way to come down here for the 8 into the middle. That's the way he should be going, unless he starts doing anything fancy with the cue ball. Well, he's trying to stay the short side of the 8 and he's almost got there. He's slightly the wrong side of the 8 though. He's trying to come back for it in the middle and he's got there as well. But again, it's an under pressure run out. And it's back to within 2. And a couple of balls in the break, but no shot in the 1. That's blocked off by the 8, and the 2 and the 3. Well, the 2 and the 3 could be used as a combo, but Larry's potted the 4 and the 6 on the break there. And Shooters Pool Pro will have, well, he's got a cut in the 1, and if he can stay top side of the table, he'll have a combo in the 2 and 3. But the 6 ball having gone in the break, again, Shooters Pool Pro has got to run the table to win the rack. Or well, not necessarily run it in the 1 visit, but pot the 9. He's missed the 1, and luckily for him, he's missed the 2 and the 3. And of course, the 9 is not quite hanging over the bottom left-hand corner pocket, but it's very adjacent. Now Larry trying to tuck the cue ball away. Is the spin going to work? Is it going to get there? Not quite. That needs to run up the table. I can't find a way to enter the 9-ball World Tourney. No, the sign-ups have been open for goodness knows how long. Hang on a minute. Hang on a sec. Right, get this bloody thing to work. Hang on. There you go. There's a link there in the lobby. Now you can sign up there. Yeah, aye. If you're not in Virtual Pool 4, I need to post it again. If you join VP4, I posted it in the lobby. Aye, they haven't done that yet. But the other way of doing it, Tam, well, you still have to be in VP4. You still have to go to the VP4 calendar and then just move the calendar across to March the 26th, and then the tournament will show on the calendar there. Well, Larry trailing by 2. Aye, that's probably the simplest way of doing it. Just open the calendar, go to March the 26th, sign up there. Well, Larry's leaving himself under pressure again here. This is not easy, this 8-ball. No way. That's a good shot. And he's going to be back to within 1. Well, if any of you guys, well, if there's any guys still watching, but if any of you guys see Spectre Dawn, do us a favour and ask him what happened. You know, why he disappeared, just out of curiosity, just so that we know everything's okay. If he reappears. What's the best 3 billiard games in PC? What's the best 3 billiards games in PC? Oh dear. Oh. Well, Larry trying to slam the 2 and get the cue ball moving for the 3, but he hasn't quite got there. But again, well, he's looking to line up this thin cut, but how does he get on the 4? This is a bit of a hit and hope. Yeah, I think that was sort of sticking your head out a bit too much there, Larry, because that's given Shooters Pool Pro a chance he really shouldn't have had. Larry should have played the safety there. Shooters Pool Pro's got the chance to nudge into this sport and the 8 and try and improve it. Well, he's got the nudge, but he's not improved it. And he can't just play the roll through and lock Larry up either. That 4 ball's going to have to go west and the cue ball go north. But he's got cover behind the 6 and that's a good shot. And it's immediately got Larry under pressure. Larry's trailing, trying to get back in level terms. But the odds on that have shortened on that happening unless he gets this kick and gets lucky. Well, from that angle it does not look easy, and from that angle there it's the thin cut, because if he was going to take it into the corner he would scratch, and that is just beyond the halfway line onto that middle pocket. Well, Larry breathes again. Oh, and it's going to have to be the 6-7 combo for Larry. And if he's going to get a chance of that, he's going to have to get right behind this 6. Just has to make sure he looks at the gap between the 2 of them, because it's a little cut onto the edge of that 7. Now where's the 6 going? It's going safe, and Larry's going to have to push this along the rail, run the cue ball up and use the 9 and 8 for cover. Just push it along there, cue ball back up here to somewhere like that and cover with ease. And that's not bad. Well, we've now been on for 3 hours and 33 minutes since the tournament started. And that is a good shot by Shooters Pool Pro. That's an excellent shot. Got the edge of the 6, got the distance, and got Larry on the rack here. And of course the 6 ball is Shooter Pool Pro's extra money ball. And Larry's got to keep it covered. And a good effort by Larry. There is barely a tiny edge of that 6 showing. I could not see that with my eyes. I would go for the kick, because there's a good chance of kicking this and kicking it in with the bank. Well, he's gone for the thin edge. He's got the edge, but he's given Larry his chance to square the match. Oh, I should have been in bed. Last night I was in bed at 9:10, and I think I woke up at 2:30 in the morning to go to the bathroom. I had a good sleep last night, but the problem with doing this tournament and finishing this time of night is my head's buzzing. When I go to bed, it's trying to get to sleep after it. My brain activity, although it's telling me I should be going to bed, it's still hyperactive when I do go to bed. Oh, Larry's leaving himself lots to do again. Big pressure shot in this 9 ball. Yes, I am. I'm up at 4:30. I'm up at the usual time tomorrow. Same on Sunday morning, same on Monday morning, same on Tuesday morning. And in it goes. Not if they're played at a reasonable hour. I mean, if they're played, say that the only ones I'll screen are the ones that are set at a time that suits my availability. Anything that starts at 8 o'clock at night, I ain't going to be streaming, because it'll just run on too long. Well, we're 5 racks all in this week's final, race to 9. And Shooters Pools played the safety. Let's have a quick look at this bracket. We can see that the money or the payout for $3 goes to 5th and 6th place. They both get 145. 4th place gets 195. 3rd place gets 260. And the runner-up tonight gets 390. And the winner gets 785. So we had a full house tonight for the tournament. When I came back from my dinner, the tournament was full at 6:05 tonight, GMT, 55 minutes before the tournament started. And of course, any latecomers couldn't get in because it's shut off at 16, which is right enough. You can't really have any more than 16 in a Friday night 9 ball when you look at the length of time it takes. 3.5 hours is a sort of norm, at least for the tournament. Oh, good evening, Semi-Pro. You're only 3 hours and 39 minutes late. Now, is Larry going to try and get this match over with as soon as he can? Is he going to go for the reverse bank in the 1? Or is he going to try and find cover? He's going for cover. And he's got it. Good enough safety. That's maybe where the phrase semi-retirement came from. Oh, but Shooters Pool Pro has dug out the jump stick. Good jump shot. Okay, he's not got lucky enough to get good in the 2, but he can certainly run for cover. Now, Larry can see enough of the 2. Can he see enough to try and stun onto the 9? No, he's not even looking at it. He's looking to keep it tight. Not prepared to take any risky shots like that. I don't know what Shooter's Pool was trying to do there. I've completely missed that. It looked to me like he just played into the 9 ball. Well, anyway, Larry's got ball in hand. He looks as if he might end up playing this 3 ball. Well, he's trying to get around to play it into the same pocket. He's not quite got there. Because of course it wouldn't go into the middle, but it would have went into that far corner. To me that would have been easier to play to get there. Now he's running into the 8 ball and hoping that he can hold for the 4. But not only that, he's got to get the cut in the 3 first of all. So it's not an easy shot. And the 8 ball does the trick. It holds for the 4. Now does that 6 ball pass the 8? Well, that's way too tight. So Larry's got more thinking to do. I did tell you, but when I had a Vindaloo, I'd never had one before, and that was my first and last. There's a guy on YouTube, and there's a hotter curry. There's a hotter curry than a Vindaloo. I think it's called a FAL. I think it's an FAHL or PHAHL or something like that. It's called a FAL. And this is in, I think it's in New York, or it's it's in a restaurant. It might be in New York, and the guy goes in to do the challenge, and he goes into the kitchen, and there's the chef preparing this FAL for him, right? And he's got all of these peppers. I mean, we're talking dynamite on a plate. But he's got all of these ingredients sitting on the desk, on the plate. And the guy goes in and says, right, why are you wearing a mask? The guy's got a bloody gas mask on, right? He says, you need to put this on as well. So he handed him a gas mask. So the 2 of them are standing there with a gas mask on, and then the chef throws all the ingredients into the wok, and of course the place is flaming, and then all the heat starts to kick in with the ingredients and all the peppers that went in. There's about 13 different peppers that were all chopped up and put into this. I mean, this thing is dark red. It's got this dark red brown colour, and you just know that it's dynamite. This is seriously blow your head off and blow your arsehole off at the same time. And you have to wear the gas mask in the kitchen, because the flames and the smell that comes off this will just burn your eyes out and burn your nose and throat out. So anyway, the guy cooked this thing up. Put it into the little bowl, and then the guy that was doing the challenge, he's sitting in the restaurant, and they bring it in and they sit it in front of him, and the guy eats it. and I don't think he broke sweat. But if you've seen the state of me having eaten a Vindaloo, I mean, my God, being a Scotsman, I go on the principle, well, I've paid for the damn thing, I'm going to eat it. There was no way any of it was going in the bin. But I vowed there and then that was it, never again. Because I had the sweat running down the crack of my arse. I had a pint of water, I had a carton of milk sitting, and I persevered and ate the damn thing. But no way will a Vindaloo ever touch my lips again. But anyway, Larry has somehow got himself into the lead. 6 racks to 5. We are 3 hours and 45 minutes into this. I should have been in bed an hour and a half ago. Now that 2-ball, you're going to have to convince me that will squeeze. Well, it does squeeze when you look at it from this side. It's just got to get there. Yeah, plenty of room. You ordered an extra large tray of Vindaloo sauce for tomorrow. What, you had a Vindaloo tonight, and then you ordered a sauce for tomorrow. Why the hell did you order a sauce? Is it not getting delivered a day late or what? Ah, right, so you're having a chicken Vindaloo, so you've had a Vindaloo tonight, whatever that was, whatever concoction was in that, and you're going to be that, your asshole will be in serious danger in a day's time. We're talking of burning ring of fire. Well, we are all square again, 6 all. This is exactly what I didn't want. I didn't want it to go all the way and take this amount of time. Well, Larry played the push out. Shooter's Pool Pro could push him back in. But he's decided to play by the look of it. And once again, he's played a good safety. And look at these. I mean, these balls are sitting not bad at all. And if that stays near the rail, Larry will take that. Although there's an invitation for the reverse bank across into that right middle. In goes the one. Well, the big shot's coming up. It's from the 5 to the 6 that's going to make or break this rack. That 6 ball squeezes past the 7 from this side. He's got the big draw on this. Oh, I think he was trying to kill it and drag it to leave himself onto it into this opposite corner. He's got a shot at it, and this for the rack. And in it goes. So 7-6 to Shooters Pool Pro. 4 ball gets kicked in. And it's going to have to be a 1-7 combo if he's going to stay at the table. And then if the 1 goes in next, a 2-3 combo. So Larry, with his chance to stay on the coattails of Shooters Pool Pro. And well, he's going to have to leave the cue ball where he is at the moment just to run that 5 past the 7. I heard a rumour, semi-pro, that you've got more than one account. I mean, we've got Shooters Pool Pro here. If we see somebody else called Shooters Pool Semi, we'll know who it is. Well, Larry's getting himself into all sorts of shapes here. He's got bent out of shape here on this 7 ball, and again, critical hit, and he's scratched, and it's well, it's not so much a gift because obviously the extra money ball has gone for Shooters Pool Pro, but he's going to have to run through on the 7 and run down onto the 8. I'm still saying semi-pro, Shooters Pool Pro is Yama. Well, he hasn't quite got there. He needed to be here to give himself a good chance of running this combo. He's about a foot and a half short. But he's played it well. He ain't no noob. And so there is daylight between Larry and Shooters Pool Pro, and Shooters Pool Pro has also got the 4 ball and the 8 ball in the break, but no real shot in the 1. But again, doing the sensible thing, tying Larry up, and the pressure again on Larry to not only get the hit but to leave this 1 ball safe somewhere, because look at the table. If Shooters Pool Pro gets a shot in this 1, he's more than likely going to be out to the 6 ball. And Larry's got the hit, but he's going to open up the 1. And of course, excuse me, Shooters Pool Pro is already on the hill, only needs this 1. Yeah, as I say guys, for anybody who's here that's a latecomer, semi-pro, Spectre Dawn was in the tournament. He won his first match, and then he forfeited his other matches. He completely disappeared out the lobby, so we don't know what's happened to him. We don't know whether there's been an emergency or whether it was just something, his internet went down. So if any of you get to see him tomorrow, before I do, try and find out what happened. I hope everything's okay. Meanwhile, this final is finally over, or it's just about to be. Shooters Pool Pro looking straight down the 6 ball, and this for the tournament. And Shooters Pool Pro, Yamaguchi Taru, wins the match by 9 racks to 6. Right guys, it's going to be short and sweet. Good night, take care, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. I'm off to bed.